Alright, Pokemon fans, I guess you can call this a rant because apparently that title seems to be getting a lot of views. So, this is more of a potential theory that was brought to my attention from a few fans in the comment section of my initial video of the Pokemon rant about Ash losing the Kalos League. Apparently, the comments were saying, hey, go back and watch the episodes with subtitles because, again, when I watched the initial episodes for the league, I didn't watch them with subtitles at all. So, luckily enough, I went back and I looked at the episode prior to the beginning of the Ash-Alain battle all the way through. So, 3 episodes, I just watched them all the way through. There were some clues, hints, foreshadowings, and possible signs that Alain's victory in the Kalos League was not legit. Now, I'm not going to make this video with the intention, oh my gosh, yes, Ash. Oh, okay, he lost, but he didn't lose. I'm not really, because again, I'm only going to present to you what I found in the episodes. If it turns out to be that Alain won, but he didn't really win, interesting plot twist, but I need to see what the writers are going to do with it. Now, we all know that before the final match began, we've got Professor Sycamore finally talking one-on-one with Alain when he reveals that, hey, you know what, I've been working with Lysandre because apparently Mega Evolution energy is something that's, important that can be used for peaceful purposes, but in the wrong hands, it can lead to danger. And as you being somebody that wants to study it, I felt like, distancing myself from you for your own safety. And Professor Sycamore was like, hey, once you find what you're looking for, because, apparently Alain was like, hey, I lost more than when I started out with, when I distanced myself from you. Obviously talking about Marin's Chespy. So, pretty much after Chespi's all well and good, apparently because he believes that the Mega Evolution energy gathered for Lysandre / Team Flare will make Chespy better. Lo and behold, I don't believe he knows the true intentions of Team Flare, given the fact of the next few episodes. So, with that being said, they had their conversation. Sycamore is like, you know what, again, good luck in the finals. I hope you found what you're looking for. Pretty much extending that olive branch to Alain, saying, hey, when you're ready to come back to talk to me, my lab doors are open. Then we get interesting dialogue with Lysandre and Ash, where he's pretty much saying that, hey, Ash-Greninja is the talk of the tournament, which it really is, because honestly, every time Ash-Greninja, or heck, let alone a Greninja steps onto the battlefield, the crowd goes nuts, and I love it. And he's pretty much talking about the bond phenomenon that Sycamore went on to talk about earlier in the episode. And he's like, hey, promise me that, I'm very interested in Mega Evolution and the bond between Pokemon and humans. So after the tournament is over, will you promise to talk with me more? Because I'd love to learn more about the Ash-Greninja, fusion. And Ash was like, okay, sure. And he's like, wow, okay, who's that guy? And then we get to earlier in the episode. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fly around like that, but Charizard and Alain are kind of like in a training room in the Pokemon City, just prepping for the finals the next day. And we see Charizard using Flamethrower, and then Malva, who Alain hasn't seen since they battled in the tournament, if you will, where he had to defeat 10 Mega Evolution Pokemon to keep his Keystone and Megastone. And she was like, hey, congratulations on the finals. And Alain was saying to, don't interfere. Some fans and think that, you know what, maybe he's telling Team Flare to butt out of the tournament, but I think maybe it has to do with the fact that she was interrupting their training session. And the way she just came on to Alain in terms of, wow, do you think you're going to win the finals as easily as you've won the other battles? It's hard. I mean, I really don't want to think, and I hope this isn't the case, that Charizard is that much more powerful, because the theory is that that his Mega Ring collects Mega Evolution energy and transmits it to Team Flare. So pretty much anytime a Pokemon Mega Evolves, the ring sucks the power. I wouldn't say that it's like a Giga Drain, if you will, or like from the Dragon Ball Z series where Android 19, 20, and Super 17, where they can absorb the ki or energy of another opponent. It's almost like his ring is like a Giga Drain, if you will. I don't think that it makes the Pokemon weaker. I think that it absorbs, if you will, the Mega Evolution energy given off during the initial transformation. For example, when he fought Mega Garchomp, and the list goes on for the Mega Evolutions he fought. Charizard had to put up, even against the Mega Venusaur he fought, it was a tough battle, even though it had the type advantage, minus Stick Fat, of course, where he had to work for the victory. So again, I feel like the initial energy given off during the transformation or evolution that's what the ring records and transmits back to Team Flare, as opposed to the longer the battle is drawn out, the more energy from the Mega Evolution Pokemon is drained, making Charizard obviously going to win. I don't think that's the case, but Ash-Greninja is a different kind of Bond evolution. It's not really a Mega Evolution. It's almost like a pseudo-Mega Evolution, if you will. Now, the main theory is based off the dialogue from Lysandre's interest in Greninja to Malva, saying, hey, you easily won, and Alain's like, hey, back off, don't interfere. What are you doing here to begin with? What face are you wearing, the face of Team Flare or the reporter face? And then we fast forward to the battle itself where Greninja sent out as Ash's last Pokemon, and Malva was saying the Greninja is made it on the battle if Greninja should lose. And Team Rocket was like, man, what is she talking about? How is Greninja going to lose? Because the bond between Ash and Greninja is at full power in the midst of a battle. Is it because she's confident that Greninja was going to lose? I mean, even Lysandre's face when Charizard entered the battlefield and Ash Greninja was, on the battlefield, like Ash and Greninja came together for that one last Ash-Greninja transformation, and Lysandre's face, I don't know if that was the face of excitement, like, okay, this is what I've been waiting to see, or he knows something we don't, because even he told Marin the night before the battle that, hey, tomorrow everything's going to be fine, Chesapeake's going to be okay, and Malva told Alain that, hey, we've almost completed all of the Mega Evolution energy needed to, fulfill our goals. In the first meeting between Ash and Alain, we noticed that in their battle that he didn't record Mega Evolution energy from Ash-Greninja. He thought it was Mega Evolution, but it really wasn't. Could it be that Ash-Greninja's bond energy was somehow sapped during the battle, but we don't know it? And that's why it seemed, a bit weaker, or it couldn't get the job done. I mean, I don't want to use this as an excuse for why Ash lost. It's more of a, somebody told me to rewatch the episodes with subs, and these were just a few things I noticed. Now, what could this mean for the series? Let's just say Team Flare and Alain's ring somehow did sap the strength of Ash-Greninja without us knowing it. Because again, let's just say the Mega Evolution ring took energy from the Mega Evolution transformation of other Pokemon, and it didn't affect the Pokemon that Mega Evolved, like Venusaur, Blastoise. But for Ash-Greninja, since it's an evolution without any kind of stone, the fact that it takes energy from that bond could potentially weaken it. But we didn't see signs of Ash or Greninja weakening during the battle. We saw more visible damage in terms of when it got struck by those Dragon Claws where Ash was hurt. Not to say the same didn't happen against Sceptile, because remember that one move where Sceptile's Leaf Storm sent Greninja airborne, we saw Ash clenching his chest in pain because that's where Greninja got hit. Now, when we talk about the battle itself, again, it was pretty back and forth, but almost one-sided, where Greninja got in more hits, but it was doing the feint in the end of the fight. And for the life of me, I cannot understand, because, correct me if I'm wrong, during the Ash Greninja versus Sceptile fight, aside from Aerial Ace, the only damage that Greninja inflicted was that massive Water Shuriken. And it managed to knock out a Grass Dragon type with a Water type move, given the fact it was like a God missile, if you will. It's just way too powerful. Then you compare it to the Fire Dragon Charizard. Keep in mind that Pikachu's quick attack and a super effective Thunderbolt did damage. And then when Greninja and Charizard were battling it out before transforming, Greninja got in one sweet cut attack, because remember, in the anime, cut is a move that actually does a lot of damage apparently. And then they Mega Evolved, and then it landed with a couple of Water Shurikens as well as the Aerial Ace attack before going in for the giant Water Shuriken. But yet Charizard was still standing, but after it took one Dragon Claw full on, it managed to semi-block a second Dragon Claw, and then Blast Burn managed to knock it out. For the life of me, that makes no sense whatsoever. So for that Water Shuriken that it used, like the Flaming Water Shuriken, which was supposedly more powerful than the huge one it used on Mega Sceptile, to not knock out a Fire Dragon while it knocked out a Grass Dragon type, makes no sense to me. So the whole Team Flare interfering, I don't know, maybe that does hold some weight. So let's just, as I was saying earlier, let's say hypothetically Team Flare managed to sap Ash-Greninja some of his strength. how would that play into the overall story arc? So here's my, I guess you could say, theory of how things might play out. Let's say that, we get to the Team Flare arc, and we do learn, and it's spoiler alert for some people out there, because again, it has been, well, based off the previews and trailers, I'm pretty sure if you've been watching the trailers, this isn't much of a spoiler. Ash gets kidnapped. We see all of his Pokemon kind of like captured. Strangely enough, in the picture, we don't see Greninja. What could this mean? Because Lysandre is like, hey, he wants to learn more about the Ash-Greninja, because that's a type of bond evolution that isn't something he's familiar with. So he obviously knows or believes that Greninja has some kind of special power that will help him out in his own goals. So that's why he's keeping Greninja close. I wonder, because I'm pretty sure, Alain doesn't know exactly what's going down, because the fact that he wants to keep Sycamore from danger, I wouldn't think that he knew that the people he was working for was going to put an entire city, if not the entire region, in danger, because the next episode looks like a freaking apocalypse all of a sudden. I kind of find it ironic how in Dragon Ball Super right now we got the Goku Black art where Trunks' future is essentially hell once again and everything's destroyed. And then we get the Pokemon where Team Flare arc is pretty much, everything's destroyed like the apocalypse. It's just, wow, how parallel these series are in some ways. Here's what I think. Let's say that midway through the arc, like when Alain figures out, hey, these people I'm working for are bad, you know what, I need to help stop them because it's my fault. What if he finds out at some point that Team Flare did interfere during the finals? Because remember, he told Malva that she even said, hey, I didn't expect you to fight in the Kalos League. Oh yeah, I didn't want to. It wasn't about being the strongest trainer. It wasn't being about any of that. It's about fighting him. Ash Ketchum. That's the only reason he entered the league. He wouldn't make it. Alain doesn't seem like the kind of person to make it all the way to the finals and then have like a crutch of Team Flare, sabotaging the fight essentially so he can come out on top. Because again, the only reason he entered the league was to fight the mastered Ash-Greninja. So I think if he did find out, let's say if Team Flare did do something, he might like revoke his title or something like that. I would rather see him, hey, you know what? I didn't win it fair and square. Here's the trophy. That's all well and good. I'd rather see them in like, hey, you know what, Alain? Let's battle full blown. Let's do it. A rematch. No interference. We're going to go all out. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Sure, I would be kind of pissed at the initial battle, but if Team Flare did indeed do something to sabotage Ash-Greninja so that they can fulfill their own goals and then Alain take the victory, if that's weaved into the Team Flare arc efficiently, I wouldn't be as mad about Ash losing the league. But if they say, you know what, hey, Ash-Greninja, we sabotaged him, that's that, then I'll be pissed. So it would soften the blow of Ash's defeat, but it would, as long as it's tied into the story some way that makes sense, I wouldn't be opposed to it. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm pretty sure that, Alain's going to see the error of his ways because unintentionally he was a puppet. So from there, he's going to try to stop Lysandre, but then get defeated. So the Kalos champion gets defeated, leaving it up to Ash to save Kalos, which would be pretty sweet when you think about it, especially at the top, if I'm not mistaken, Lumio's Tower, which was where the journey began, where he was able to stop the mind control Professor Sycamore's mind control Garchomp from Team Rocket. Because remember, in the first Mega Evolution special, Marion was talking about that trainer who saved Garchomp from the tower, and Alain was surprised, and then it turned out to be Ash. So I think that would be a great way to bring things full circle and make sense. Because again, if indeed this theory is true that Team Flare did somehow sabotage the match, but it's well written into the story, and then we get closure from the Ash and Alain fight, I will accept that. And in this rant video, if you will, I am outright saying that as long as it's well written, I will accept that. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think that Team Flare did indeed sabotage the match by somehow either powering up Charizard? I don't think they powered up Charizard, because the way they were talking, it was more about taking Mega Evolution energy than powering up Charizard to make it an easy win. It would explain how it did take so many hits, but again, plot is the most powerful attack or defense in any TV show, folks. Plot is the best thing. No strategy, no nothing can overcome it. It's all about the writers. It's all about plot. And I'll say it again, as I said in the other video, I do not dislike Alain. I don't think Ash is an idiot, because again, it's up to the writers to do that. Because at the beginning of the battle where Pikachu was like using Iron Tail on the water to stop the sandstorm, and all that good stuff. I was like, this is classic Ash Ketchum right there. And then to see the battle like nosedive, it was pretty sad to see. So again, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Team Flare sabotaged the match? Do you think that, well, Ash lost, that's it? Or if, are you like me? If Team Flare did do something, if it is well written into a good conclusion, would you accept Ash losing? Because again, even if Ash is the one to stop Team Flare but doesn't win the league, he's saved the world a bunch of times, almost as many times as Goku and his Z Fighters. I don't want to see him save the world. I want to see him win a league. So with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts below.